I feel like I've seen articles that say that your whole persona and your dress and attire were very carefully calculated.
So they weren't. Like, it was natural, but I was aware of what persona it created, and like, I think the biggest thing that it was authentic, and I very intentionally didn't do things that a lot of people would do that would clamp down on the authenticity.
Okay, so people have made quite a fuss of Sam constantly wearing his t-shirt and shorts as if it's some big indicator that he must have committed fraud and that every single thing he's ever done must have been a complete and utter lie. And I've asked him about this. On one of my visits to Sam's house, I asked him how calculated his appearance and attire really were.
I feel like I've seen articles that say that your whole persona and your dress and attire were very carefully calculated.
So they weren't. Like, it was natural, but I was aware of what persona it created, and like, I think the biggest thing that it was authentic, and I very intentionally didn't do things that a lot of people would do that would clamp down on the authenticity. And so, like, one example is, like, I got invited to the that big party everyone dresses up for each year in New York, the Met Gala.
Okay.
Yeah. And I didn't end up going. I was gonna go. I faked COVID to get out of it.
Did you hate going to those things?
I would have hated it. It would have been really unpleasant. But the other thing was, I realized I didn't have time to prepare for it, because if I just wore a tux, it would have been bad PR-wise. Like, that, it would have just obviously been fake and inauthentic. And so what I wanted to was show up in shorts and a t-shirt, but actually it would have been too offensive. And so, like, there's an incredibly thin line to thread there in terms of, like, what I could do that was simultaneously authentic, but also not, like, paid homage to the event. And I think the thing we came up with in the end was to get a famous designer to make a custom pair of khakis and a t-shirt.
That's smart.
And like, that would have been the thing that thread that line, and it would have been like just offensive enough that it would have not seemed fake, but it would have been like just sort of fancy enough, and like clearly enough thought and time had gone into it that it would like be interpreted as a fashion statement by the fashionistas rather than as disrespect. But we didn't have time to make that happen. So
that would have actually been really good.
It would have been cool. It was, we talked this out 2 days before the gala, and it was like, oh shit, we're not gonna get this done in time. Like, and so that's an example where like, it's not that like, it was a fake persona, but like most people would have just worn the tux there, and I basically just felt like will undermine my brand if I'm ever inauthentic.
Yeah.
And so that was basically the core of it. And like, you know, in the car, for instance, like, the car I drove is the car I naturally would have ended up with. Someone at the company tried to get me a fancy car, and basically said, no, I don't care, and it's gonna look bad. And like, and so it was reverting to the thing which was in fact natural and authentic, but it sometimes took effort to do that, because sometimes randomly something would have intervened. And so that was the extent to which it was like, I don't know, to which it was sculpted. Was sort of sculpting the outliers that would be inconsistent.
Yeah.
And it was, I don't know, a lot of things like that work together to like, and they're all dumb. None of them should matter, but like, I don't know, people judge on dumb shit.
Yeah.
Like, it's how the world is.
Personally, I actually think he was being quite honest in this answer. I even dug through very old pictures of Sam, and in practically every high school and college photo I could find of him, he was wearing a t-shirt and shorts. far before he started FTX or Alameda Research. I also don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with dressing to suit a certain persona in the first place. I, for one, do think about how what I wear will affect what other people think of me. I also even intentionally often wear t-shirts and dress casually in these videos because I'm not a professional and I'm not trying to come off as one. So personally, I think this portion of the narrative has been very overblown. I think Sam genuinely did like wearing t-shirts and shorts and probably realized at some point that it contributed in some way to his persona and just intentionally stuck with it. I personally don't think he's secretly a snazzy dresser who wears lots of Gucci and Louis Vuitton or whatever secretly at home in private, and I have been to his house and I've pretty much seen nothing there but t-shirts and shorts. I also ultimately just don't think it really matters. I don't think that him wearing a t-shirt and shorts, even if it was calculated in any way, means that he's guilty or innocent of stealing billions of dollars of customer funds. But since this seems to continually come up, even in the courtroom, I figured I would just include Sam's commentary on this. And I personally think he was actually being quite honest in this answer. And he even acknowledged that it did contribute in some way to his persona, and I also personally don't think there's anything wrong with that. Because there are a lot of other legitimate things to go after Sam Bankman-Fried for, other than the fact that he wore a t-shirt and shorts a lot. Beyond that, I also found his little anecdote about faking COVID to get out of the Met Gala quite amusing, so I hope you enjoyed that as well. Anyway, Sam Bankman-Fried began testifying under oath on Friday, and it will continue into Monday, and then we'll get into the real juicy stuff because he will be cross-examined. I am in New York City to attend Sam Bankman-Fried's criminal trial in person, and I've been sharing updates here on YouTube, on Twitter, on Substack, etc. So if you'd like to follow along, feel free to. If not, it's fine. I've also posted some other sort of amusing bits of my conversations with Sam Bankman-Fried while he was on house arrest for my paid Twitter and my paid Substack subscribers. So if you're interested in that at all, feel free to subscribe to me, but I'll also be posting updates here publicly for you all. So anyway, I'll be back in court tomorrow and I will talk to you all very, very soon. Bye!